Hello, and thank you for watching the September 19th weather update, brought to you by Agrible, the makers of Morning Farm Report. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I'm a senior atmospheric scientist and co-founder of Agrible. To get started this week, the World Meteorological Organization officially announced the world record for the longest lightning strike. Now, a typical lightning strike is around 3 miles long, and the actual strike itself is only about the width of your thumb. But the world record for length was set in Oklahoma in June 2007 at nearly 200 miles long. The strike crawled along the base horizontally, like these strikes that you see in this video. Lightning detection is the work of very sensitive radio receivers that can pinpoint the source of each strike. After analyzing decades of these data, the world record was discovered. In other severe weather news, I thought this video was hilarious last week. It shows how the Colorado Rockies game was interrupted by hail. Now, the players run off the field, but the umpire, in his protective helmet and vest, kind of just strolls off the field as if to say, "What, it's just a little bit of ice?" Okay, so let's get back to it. Many farmers in the Corn Belt are having trouble with the crop drying down in the field. This is the last 30 days of accumulated rainfall expressed as a percent of normal. A large, semi-permanent subtropical ridge in the jet stream has set up over the southeastern United States and has been pumping moisture through the central United States, keeping big sections of the Corn Belt over 200% of average on rainfall. This is keeping a lot of farmers out of the fields, as harvest should be underway if it weren't for all of this rain. While it is not widespread, reports of ear mold and stalk rot have been surfacing. And with the excess of rains, we are also seeing more cases of sudden death syndrome in beans. Many fields still have beans that are near 100% in terms of moisture content, and the extra rain and wind has laid a lot of these beans over in the field. So the question is, when is it going to dry down? Well, here's the setup for this week. A large ridge takes hold of the upper level flow pattern, and that ridge is centered kind of on Texas, but kind of stretches to the northeast toward the Great Lakes by midweek. Under this ridge, above average temperatures will build this week, and most of the Corn Belt will be 5 to 10 degrees warmer than average. Here are the temperature anomalies, which are differences from normal, that are expected by Wednesday. Now, the heat is fine and welcome, actually, as long as it stays dry. While the humidity will build through the midsection of the country on southerly winds, the forcing for the showers and storms will stay primarily in the northern parts of the Corn Belt, and the heavier rain forecast for Minnesota and Wisconsin actually won't even arrive until around Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Outside of this region, we can see how large sections of Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio get a week of warm temperatures and very little rain. The GFS, NAM, and the European models are all in agreement with this forecast, but I cannot rule out the potential for local thunderstorm development given the warmer temperatures and higher humidity levels across parts of the Corn Belt. Change is coming, though. By the start of next week, around the 26th or the 27th, we need to be watching for a powerful cold front to introduce much colder air into the Midwest and Great Plains. I've been watching for this cool down for over 2 weeks now, and interestingly enough, this feature in the mid-latitude jet stream that will actually usher in this colder air was partly initiated last week when a pair of typhoons skirted past Taiwan in Southeast Asia. These typhoons caused a large enough change in the flow of the jet stream to help kind of excite a trough that will impact the central United States more than 15 days later, here at the end of September, beginning of October. Well, by the start of October, this cooler air will be established across the Corn Belt, but as of now, I am not forecasting a widespread frost. There is the potential for frost in the northern parts of the Corn Belt, in the low-lying areas in Minnesota and Wisconsin, so we will have to be watching this stuff very closely. And I'll also say this, it does look as though the weather patterns do remain kind of in this transient state, and even though cold air gets established for a little while here at the end of September, beginning of October, I do expect some warmer conditions to build back in after this. Well, as we finish up this video update, let's take a look at Brazil. Northern growing regions have been very dry, a common consequence of a strong El Nino. This map shows the percent of water storage in the soil at the end of last week. Well, the strong El Nino from earlier this year has faded into neutral conditions for the Pacific, and very weak La Nina conditions are starting to surface. The monsoonal flow across Brazil has resumed, and forecast models are picking up on rain returning to Brazil's growing regions, which will aid in returning soil moisture back to more manageable levels. Now, with a very weak La Nina forecast for this winter and potentially even INSO-neutral conditions, we should expect both the bean and corn yields to be much better than they would have been if the La Nina was forecast to be moderate or even strong. We'll keep you posted on Brazil's weather through their growing season. And well, as always, we at Agrible will bring you the latest and best weather forecast information through our morning farm report so that you can efficiently plan your operations. We thank you for your attention and hope you look forward to our next weather video update. Thank you.